It's after 4, so we're gonna call this Lincoln Parish Library Board of Control meeting to order. Can I get someone, basically, to look at the agenda, see if what's on there, what you want to be on there, and I get a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that the agenda be approved as read.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the agenda for today's meeting, September 18, 2019. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Nobody's abstaining? Okay, good.
All right.
No public comment? No one wants to speak to the board? Okay, well, I guess we can go on. Okay, reading of the minutes.
I have read the minutes, and as I recall, this is what we said, so I move they be adopted.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that the minutes from the last meeting, August 21st, be approved. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, nay? No absence? Okay. Motion approved. Okay, moving right down, coming into the old business. First on the agenda is the Bookmobile Committee report. We appointed an ad hoc committee and we are ready to hear what they said.
We met on August 28th and have the following recommendation: that we do not at this time pursue, and please note, at this time, we do not recommend pursuing the Bookmobile because we've really had only one statement or inquiry regarding the service. Estimated cost, which include purchase of the Bookmobile and fitting of the vehicle because of all the shelving and wiring and all that, would be between $250,000 to $400,000 or more. Vivian had polled people, and there's a lot of people who are buying them, and they are quite expensive. In addition to the expense of just purchasing the vehicle and fitting it, there's a cost of constructing a bay adjacent to this facility to some unknown spot at this point, so that it would be covered for loading and unloading. Also, insurance would be a factor. We would require a 2-person CDL licensed team to service the parish. So in addition to the cost of the vehicle and fitting it, there are these costs plus whatever operational costs are there. Also, one of the services that we offer at the library here are computers, and that type of service would be limited depending on the parish location, so we wouldn't have a full service Bookmobile anyway. And also, we are uniquely located geographically, and we're easily accessed. We're the center of commerce, we're the center of business, and we have good hours. We are available. We're here, we're easily gotten to, and we have hours that are available. And also, and y'all correct me if you will,
Okay.
It seemed like, I couldn't read my note, but it seems like I wrote that usage in surrounding parishes, that there are few parishes that do have a Bookmobile, the usage is decreasing. I thought I could read that correctly. So rather than continuing with this discussion at this point with the Bookmobile, we are suggesting that the existing service, the neighborhood outreach vehicle, be publicized. Vivian says there's available hours. The hours typically around 60 a month, or that's not the right term, is it? Stops are 60 a month. There were 2 months where there were 80 stops, but typically it's around 60 stops, and you did say there's room for additional stops. So we're suggesting that we publicize this more so that people are aware of it and that we could then expand the service. End of report.
Very good. I am so impressed. Charles and Debbie
And Diane.
Diane. Thank you for being so thorough.
Listen, we went at it seriously.
I'm serious. That's
We really
wonderful.
did. We interviewed different parishes and we took it very seriously. What I was surprised, that the parishes that have and still spend an awful lot of money having a bookmobile, the yield seems to be lessening because people are mobile now.
Okay.
I think you commented the times have changed.
Right. I mean, like Sandra and I were talking last meeting, we loved the bookmobile. I'm sure many of you did. It was a different time, a different era. And
Yeah.
nowadays, they go to stops and the youngsters don't come running out to the bookmobile like we used to. They're probably inside.
They in on their phone.
Right. And with the big difference, I talked to Union, Jackson, Washita, very spread out, very rural parishes with, satellite libraries and everything. What we have here is unique in the fact that we bought a giant,
Building.
yes. And it's right on the cusp of, it's in the middle of everything, 167 and I-20. So I think anyone that lives in the outside areas, they're coming to Walmart, they're going to the doctor, they're getting their medicine, they're going to Walgreens. And it's easy to just pull in here. We have a giant parking lot. There's accessibility, and the fact that we stay open till 8 at night, we're open on, no one else is doing that. They're not open on Sundays. And we go far and beyond availability wise. And they have these expensive vehicles. They feel like they're kind of now, they just have them, so they're driving them around as a sort of a advertisement more than people coming in it very much.
Expensive advertising.
But I want to say that I think it's so important that we did this. I think knowing and going into it, we probably said it was going to be cost prohibitive. But we need to let the public know that
Yes.
we
Right.
investigated, we
I
heard your
agree.
concerns, we're coming back with you now with the facts and the figures,
Right.
and they can make it a statement or a judgment for themselves whether or not it's worth it to invest in the bookmobile.
Right. Now, all that being said, who's the marketing of and how do we get the information out about our outreach vehicle?
Casey is working on that as we speak.
Okay.
As of tomorrow, the van will be dropped off at the sign place, and
okay.
it will have the
Good
logos.
advertisement.
The logo will be, the graphics will be put on the van,
Great.
so
Right.
it will be seen more by the public as it's going around to its stops
Okay.
already.
And we want to publicize the availability of this outreach
Yes.
van.
Yes.
We're going to daycares, we're going to nursing homes,
Right.
we're going to shut-ins. Who else needs us to come?
Right.
We're quite open to that.
And the good thing is we don't require a particular license to operate this versus the bookmobile. You're a CDL driver, you have to pass the test and be certified. So I think we can get into more locations. And hey, maybe we need a second vehicle.
Well, I can tell you that the van will be at the Chicken Festival.
All right.
Right.
Good.
Love it.
Anyway, it was a fun project.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate that too, because I think the last meeting, if I can remember, Vivian said we probably did it by word of mouth.
Most of it.
Now it's coming to be a little
Right.
more, in addition to the word of mouth, the showcasing of the van, the publicity that Case is going to help us with, and more people will be aware of. So we'll probably get an increase in the numbers and look at that and say, hey, we as we like to say, we done real good.
Do you still get invitations out to speak to groups?
Yes.
She's been,
Oh, yes.
So a good opportunity to say, oh, and by the way, look what we got behind door
We
number
talk
2.
about it every time that I go out. So
Great,
Casey's going out as much as I'm going out.
good.
wonderful.
Well, drive it when you go out.
We do, if it's in, we will.
Okay.
If it's not out on the route.
That's what I'm saying. Now that you're going to the various kinds of
We
organizations.
always do, as long as we
Okay.
have, as long as it's in.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
In fact, we call our vehicle Brad. So I drive Brad.
Why Brad?
After that commercial,
Why
Yes.
Brad? Why Brad? What's commercial of Brad?
There was a commercial on TV about,
she
Brad
called her
being
vehicle
the-
Brad.
so we call our vehicle
Oh,
Brad.
okay.
You don't watch TV, do you?
Read
So-
books.
I don't watch it much, I just remember that silly commercial.
Well, that's good. Okay, Brad. All right. Okay. Thank you again for following the request to do that. Okay, next on the agenda is the director evaluation. We're gonna have some discussion on that.
Let me add something, because you and I discussed this, but we have a recent development, in advance of what we talked about. The supervisors' evaluations are all done, sealed in a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnall's front porch. But I have those here. I've not looked at them, not read them, but I was handed these by Maria today.
Well, I'll be honest and say that I talked with both Charles and David Gillette, who's not here today. David is at a meeting. He told me he was gonna be at a meeting today. But when I spoke with them, I know that we're supposed to, we being the board members, evaluate Vivian, and the supervisors were going to also evaluate Vivian. Bless you.
I'm not allergic, I'm not contagious, I'm allergic.
What the request was that the two of them spearhead the process for disseminating the evaluation, collecting the evaluation, collating the evaluations, and reporting with the person with the evaluations and with the outcome of them. Thank you. Vivian, I know you said that you were gonna give the evaluations at this board meeting, but I'm gonna make a suggestion. Would you mind me probably coming back after I've given some thought to this? Would you be so kind, because David, I asked David as well. David also drafted a letter to be included in a packet with the evaluation that will be sent to each board member. In that packet would also be a way of returning the evaluation, so it'll be anonymous, okay? No postmark that we wouldn't know of and anything like that. And I'm just kinda like letting you know that the thing you just said, that it includes mailing 2 items, evaluation form pertaining to Vivian, and a postage paid return envelope addressed to David. Please mark your enclosed form fairly as your evaluation of Vivian's accomplishments as director of the library this past year. I will need the evaluation to be anonymous and mailed with a postmark of no later than Tuesday, October 15th. And I think that Tuesday, October 15th, we said the deadline in the month of October. If David gets it by October 15th, then by the end of the month, all of us should have been able to give him the information. He would correlate it and get an opportunity to meet with Vivian to say, this is what it came up with. What do you think?
Professional.
Okay,
Why anonymous?
must be.
Must be?
Yeah.
I don't mind signing my name to anything I say.
Well, I think part of it is for reasons in the past, Charles, we said, and I know the businesses I work with, and not that I think Vivian would be vindictive or anything,
Oh, well.
but it makes, we don't have anything we can be vindictive about. But we're still trying to be professional and we're trying to be above board. And we're trying to take into consideration everything that may happen or come in there unforeseen, we don't know. So if we don't know, we don't know. And I think anonymously is the best way to do it
That's fine.
as far as,
Will these be turned in, these have to be filed, I guess, don't they?
No, I've never seen any.
No, but I mean, you've never, so,
Even after, I don't know what has happened to them. I have no idea where they go when they get through.
they just
I've
go
never
away?
seen.
Okay,
Mhm. I just get talked about with the,
okay.
well, and I think we talked about it too from before. The last meeting, we had some discussions to talk about evaluation. I know Vivian's concern was basic that we evaluated staff, but they didn't get the pay raise with the merit or something like that, if I can recall. But I think David and I both came back and said, but evaluation serves several purposes. But I also can do what? Talk about areas in need of improvement and areas of commendation. Because who knows, maybe used later on, if not in this position, another position to say, I want more money. Like you said. So it serves more purposes than one. And I'm gonna go ahead and
Absolutely.
suggest that maybe we do it on a regular basis. I know it's been about 5 years since we did it last, because I remember mine came to me when I was out of state. So it's been about that long. So putting it on a regular basis about this time of the year, which will give everybody an opportunity to have had some experiences with and to recall. What do you think, Vivian?
I'm okay with it any way you want to do it.
Okay.
I would prefer to be evaluated.
Okay.
I would like to know what you think of what I do, and I would like to know, some constructive criticism is certainly welcome to me.
So this will be
All for it.
mailed to us?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
asking,
Yeah.
Vivian, can we put this on letterhead stationery?
We
You know,
can.
I'm asking David to just go ahead and
Well, I have
do
the
it to you.
forms already, so what I'm gonna do, it has a place for signature, so
Just don't sign.
just
Don't
don't
sign
sign
it.
it.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
will mail
We'll fill
those
that
to
in
you,
and
but,
send them.
what we've done in the past, instead of mailing them, which is fine, but if you wanted to, some people didn't wanna mail them, they wanted to bring them in the past, and Maria just held on to them and they're sealed envelopes. So it doesn't make any difference to me how it's done.
Mail,
But
mail.
that's
I
fine.
think mail.
Okay,
Yep, that will be.
I will take care of that.
Thank you so very much. And I love your attitude about the fact that evaluations will serve several reasons, and it helps us. Comments, please. Board members, don't sit silent now. I want you to give me some feedback.
Okay, cool.
I think
Last time.
evaluations is wonderful, because then the person would know, okay, I need improvement on this, I'm doing excellent on this, but let me work on this a little more.
Yes.
They'll really know, what's really going on.
Dr. Clark, I didn't agree that this was a good process because I view our director as a professional. However, having said that last time, I think it's set up really well and it's a good way to do it. So I concur with it. Let's kick the pig.
I was about to say, he used that phrase last week on that, last month. Oh, Charles,
Okay.
you hurt me badly as a kid. Thank you
Do you
so
have
much.
an affection for pigs or wait till you hear my pig joke after the meeting.
Okay, let's put a pin in the pig and we're gonna move on.
Let's move on.
Okay, thank you. The next on the agenda is the plaques update.
I'm still waiting for a picture of Mr. Burnside.
Okay.
I think I may have told all of you, I'm not sure, it may have just been a few, but his granddaughter, or his daughter's, Mr. Burnside's granddaughter is very, very ill, and his daughter has not been able to deal with this situation. I mean, we really need to say a prayer for this young lady.
Okay,
So, we don't have his picture, and that's what I'm waiting on.
okay.
We have everything in place, so as soon as I get his picture, I can send it, and it shouldn't be but just a couple of weeks before the plaques come in at that point.
Would you
We
refresh?
can probably, all the daughters are friends of my sisters-in-law, and I can probably get one of them to contact and request just as an
Well,
invitation.
Mr. Hollingsworth has been in touch with her,
Okay.
and he's been talking with her about that, and she just told him the last time he talked with her that she didn't wanna hear anything right now, she was too
Oh,
busy with the
wow.
young lady.
That's clear.
The little girl is very, very ill.
Okay.
And she's in
Refresh.
Pennsylvania or Connecticut.
Yeah,
somewhere
I
up
think
there.
Pennsylvania.
And then there's another sister that's in Mandeville and then one in El Paso, so.
Wow.
Is that the only one we're working on? Is that?
I have Mr. Beard's. So I have all of his information.
Okay.
Well, we can understand when you're going through crisis situation.
Absolutely.
You know, we're all touching and
Distracted.
happening, and we can wait.
We can honor
We're
that.
not
We're-
in that big of a rush. We're gonna send up a prayer for her and the family member who's also.
Her name's Anna.
Anna? Okay, put Anna on my prayer list.
Where does she live?
I think they're in Connecticut.
Somewhere in that area.
Prayers for Anna. Okay, Friends of the Library report.
Okay, so we had our annual meeting
Uh-huh.
and elected officers, and these officers served for 2 years. Mary Carol Vadrine was the president last year, and she's going to remain the president. You might recall she lost her home in the tornado, not tornado, what was it?
Tornado.
Yeah, it was a tornado. In the tornado, and is just rebuilding her house on the slab.
Oh,
But she still said she could handle it if somebody would help with the book sale, which we did have that. She will continue to be president. Joanne Warren will continue as vice president. Tony Jerkis will continue as treasurer. And then the new member is Cheryl Maxwell, and she's the new secretary for Friends. And she moved into town. She was a home ec teacher. Very nice. She volunteered to be the secretary, and sounds really great. David and Martha Carey offered to just really run the book sale this year. And did anybody get to go
Yes.
to the book sale? It
And
was
they did.
very
Yes.
successful.
Oh,
Oh.
they did, yes, it was.
There
it
was
very
lots
good.
of help, plenty of help. It went smoothly. I talked to Mary Carol early today, and she said there were hardly any children's books left. They were all taken, so that's so great. Anyways, very, very successful, and Tony Jerkis said the members have really grown, the numbers have grown. So just going out and mentioning to people, when you want to be I've talked to so many people, no one has said, no, I don't want to be a friend of the library. They all will. You just ask them. So there are brochures, little pamphlets out there that you can hand someone, and it's $10 a year. And should we say something, Vivian, about how we're going to try to do that? That was a difference about just don't worry about it. Okay. Anyway, it's $10 a year. And hopefully each fall we'll have this organizational meeting, and hopefully everybody will remember to renew their dues at that time. So Tony has a big clump at the beginning of the fall. So at the beginning of school is when we'll have our big friends meeting.
So let me say to you, it is very popular. Today when I went to exercise, one of the persons in the exercise class talked to me about the library sale for the books.
Great.
She said, but I have not been contacted for being a member of Friends of the Library. I said, well, I'm going to a board meeting today, and I guarantee you, next week when we exercise, I'm not only going to bring a application for you,
Right.
everybody in the class is going to get one
There
too.
you go. That's what
Okay.
I've been doing, and it works.
We
But
talked to
nobody's
people as they were
ever turned
checking
it
out.
Yes.
And people joined or
Yes.
took information.
Some joined Friday morning so they could pay their $10, become a friend, and then shop from 8 to 12, because that was just friends.
Let me speak to the shopping.
Okay.
I don't know the name, Vivian, maybe you can tell me. The group that was meeting in the event center is a homeschool organization. And evidently they're from North Louisiana, must have been a fairly large group. We had lots of shoppers. We sold lots of books to parents and kids that are homeschooled. So we really need to, hopefully can coordinate that next year, as that was a good time to have it.
Right.
It happened, we didn't really know it was happening that way. And then the
Faux pas
Four
Yeah.
Paws met on
on the outside.
the outside.
On
So
Saturday. I
it was-
came through Saturday.
It was a good
So
lot
that
of
was
traffic.
great. Yeah.
Right, right.
So,
Would you consider asking that maybe consider doing it not just once a year, but twice a year?
we used to do 2 a year, didn't we?
It's a
really
little more.
hard.
It is.
And some
Somebody
organizations
asked
do
me.
it once a quarter, but
I think fall is the perfect time.
Okay.
I mean, really, school is starting, people are thinking about academics and getting books for their kids and everything, and it's just a huge sale, and it's a real moneymaker for
and it's a
friends.
lot of work.
It is a lot,
Lots
it's a
of work
lot of
setting
moving
up,
parts.
And then lots of work taken down.
Yeah.
What happened, how do we get the books back there Monday afternoon? Do you know? Because the
So-
parish people left.
Yes, they left early.
Oh,
They were
Right.
not supposed to, but they did.
mm,
The Friends did it all.
Wow.
They did a
Well,
wonderful job.
David and Martha
Yeah,
were great, and I'm gonna call out 2 other
Here.
people that were here late in the day, and I don't, his name is Sergey. What's his wife's name? I don't know that I can.
Monty, and I cannot pronounce their last name.
I
but
can't
yes.
pronounce it. He's from Russia, a U.S. citizen, but from Russia. And they were here helping.
They've really
Constantly.
worked a lot.
We've had such good help.
And there was other good help too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when I called to volunteer my services, they said everybody had been,
Right.
It's,
I stopped down.
I called
and
and said,
was
can I
covered.
help
We
you?
don't need
and
it.
it was,
Two things, Debbie.
Yes.
One of the comments that I heard was, they were looking for a lot of videos. Folks don't get up off of the videos, do they?
There were a lot of videos
a lot of
in there.
videos,
Well,
yeah.
You
more
mean maybe
videos,
they-
more videos, more videos. And the other comment was, it was kind of difficult for them to get down underneath the tables
Yeah.
with the books that were on the floor, Vivian. I don't know how we can even
Well,
come
the
to that
tables were
or,
jam-packed
Yeah.
with three across.
I
Three books
know.
across, and then,
We need a
so
bigger space.
we said, well, let's put them under there. People are gonna, some people just love to get down in there. I don't, but,
And then as they emptied it on the
and
table,
then we had
fill
people
them.
who were there putting books from up there. But you're right, that was
yeah,
not a
that's what
convenient place.
and you have to consider that senior citizens will not like to kneel down there. The young folks could do it and get up
Yeah.
very easily.
And David set up this end piece with all the T-shirts,
Oh,
all the
yes.
the collections, and really drew a lot of people there. But back to the videos, I think they were in the back corner, weren't they?
I'm
And
not-
maybe they were not. Maybe they should
Okay.
be centered, front and
Okay.
center next
Well, I'm just
to that.
saying what somebody came and said to me.
We had-
Are
like,
we
they
had-
looking
They
for
book
videos
sale.
or DVDs?
They just said videos.
Well,
I'm
Okay, we
sure
packed up a lot of them to go back to the back.
Okay.
So, and a lot of the T-shirts sold, so we have very few of those left.
Did you feel like the room was too crowded, or was it the space okay?
I liked it, me myself.
But I was going to
Did
ask.
you? I liked it rather than the big open forum that we
We
usually
had
have
it
in
at the
there.
event center.
Right, I
Yeah,
just like the
we have.
coziness of moving.
And why have we not had it?
What happened
It's,
with it?
it's really unwieldy over there with
Yeah.
it being so spread out. You're constantly walking that big long room,
And it is.
trying to keep
Find
things
what you're looking
straight
for.
and
Yeah. It really
continually
works well.
replenish, you know. The workers get extremely tired over there in that spot.
Ah,
Well, I like the little
I
small
do too.
compact
It's a little
area.
cozy, but I think people like the convenience of just walking the door, going there, and go
Yes.
back out with their bags of books
And plus, it was a good location. People were coming in.
and seeing it.
Coming
What's
into the
going on
library.
here?
Yeah.
They were looking at that very nice display as you come in. And then they would come over, what's going on here? So
So
there was a
let's keep
lot
it
of good things.
there.
It was a perfect storm weekend. It went well.
Now, I can also say two other things, Debbie. One, thank all of the board members for joining Friends of the Library.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think the second thing I would like to say, can we just send a note of thank you to the Friends for, they do it all the time, but just to let them know how we support them. They're supporting us, we're supporting them.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation for both. So can we draft up a little note of thanks for them and
No,
let
I'll
them
do that.
know?
Is
Okay.
that okay? Yeah, I'll be glad
And
to.
maybe a little publicity
Yeah.
about the Friends. Possibly.
Oh, that's nice, Joyce.
Can your staff do that, or are we too independent of?
We can do a small amount.
Okay.
That's how we get to see and do some other things.
Well, it was a great thing. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, all right. Anything else for Friends of the Library report? Thank you so much for
You're
working with
welcome.
them too. Okay. All right, new business.
I don't have anything today. Casey has submitted a marketing report for you guys,
Great.
and I will share that with you.
Okay.
She said that we had the successful book sale with Friends, so that was there. She wants you to know that she will be starting a bi-monthly column with the Ruston Daily Leader that will
Excellent.
start next week.
That's great.
Yes.
So we will be able to get some publicity or to have more people find out about some of the things that we do,
Great.
like the
And
outreach
this
van.
came up at the meetings over
It
there.
did come over there,
Some
up
people,
over there.
we don't know what the library does. We've never
That's
been
also
in it.
something Dr. Clark's been working on for a while too. So, we have an outreach booth at the Junior Auxiliary Pediatric Health Fair this weekend. and we also have a space at the Chicken Festival the next weekend.
Excellent.
It is my goal and Casey's goal. I really wanted to do what a library did at Arsenal, but when I looked at it, I thought, there is no way my body will hold out to do what these people did. They're a lot younger than I am. But they did at least 100 outreaches that year.
Wow.
And so I came back and we talked about it, and Casey said, well, we can do a lot. And I said, well, let's make our goal 50 outreaches. So we're doing some kind of outreach at least once a week.
Good.
And we're taking 2 weeks off for vacation. So 50 weeks we're gonna do
That's
outreaches.
impressive.
And that's our goal. So, right
It's
now
nice to have the help.
we've got more than 50 scheduled, so.
Well, I saw
We're
them at the
gonna be
farmer's
doing a lot.
market.
Yeah.
Had a set there, you know, every
People have
Saturday.
told me, hey, we saw them at the farmer's, saw the library at the farmer's market.
This will be the second time Vivian came. We were having a back to school, and parents and children were there in Dumont. So this, and Vivian came and had some information for them, a little bookmark that we put in their backpacks that we're giving away. And so this is the second time that they will be visited. So maybe going back to one of the gentleman's comments,
Yes.
this is definitely outreaching to another area that is not Ruston.
It's very
So,
good.
and it was well received.
I can tell you that we have one of the plans that we have is we're gonna be working on and we're probably gonna ask for help with this. So just get ready. We're gonna be having a float in the Christmas parade in both Grambling and Ruston.
Wow.
Is it fun?
Fun.
I think that's gonna be a lot of
That'll be
fun.
fun.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, my
We're looking forward
goodness.
to
been
that.
there, done that.
So, yes, me
That's
too.
excellent, excellent.
But those are just a couple of the things that we have in the works and,
Will the employees be allowed to be a part of that?
oh, absolutely,
Encouraged to be good. That's great.
absolutely.
Now, I was the one who said to Casey, I borrowed it from another area, about articles in the newspaper. They had an article in the newspaper every week about the library. Last night when we were at the meeting, I gave Casey the latest one that I saw, and it was about September being library card month.
Yes, yes.
So Casey's doing something I know, and the question, I know Charles, you asked that question probably, of the members on the police jury. Do you own a library card?
I asked
I
that, but it
thought
was
I
not
would-
asked last night.
It was not asked last night. No, it was not. But it was so good for the first night. You had people actually admitted that they did not own. The wife owned. The grandchildren owned.
But they
Didn't own. So it came in what they say, we brought it full circle and down front to let everybody know that we're serious about you.
Yeah.
And I think part of it, so Casey's gonna do something with the library book card month of September. So thank you, I really appreciate it.
There's been some pictures on Facebook. Did you see our
Several.
picture?
I'm not on
And
Facebook.
Diana had a beautiful picture. She was holding up our library card. They
Okay.
just grabbed us when we were in here.
Okay, good.
Luckily, I didn't have my yoga outfit on it.
Oh, that's all right. Well, they know
Yeah,
that
you were on
there.
there.
Oh my gosh.
They know that
You
you
were
were
in
there.
national news
Miss
with the
Humphries
card.
looked beautiful.
Okay. Okay, what else can we do with the students, Vivian, or anything before that? Oh, you thanked us already for our attendance at the
At the
meet and
the
greet.
meetings. Absolutely.
Yes,
I thank you all for showing up. for
yes, that is so interesting.
that.
Yes,
There are
you know
still
going on.
two more of those, one Monday night and Thursday night of next week.
Okay.
Monday and Thursday.
I learned so much
Yeah.
I did too.
that I did not know.
Thank you, Ruston Leader. It was a good thing.
Excellent.
Very good thing.
And
And
thank,
Origin Bank and whoever made the cookies. I don't
wow,
know.
weren't there some nice desserts?
Oh,
Downtown.
Downtown.
oh, down.
The one with the pecans
They were
on
so
it. Oh
good. Yeah,
my
they were
goodness. I have to go over there and see what else is going on. But I also asked Vivian, and Vivian, explain to us please, because I came up with the idea, and I think I ran about Fury to say, could we have opened up the
Chautauqua.
area to try to get people to sign up to go to the library to have a library card. And she said, no, we could not have done that. But with those 350 people up in there that night,
It's tempting, wasn't it?
woo!
Well, the program, it was not a library program.
Right.
Right.
This was all done by the Ruston Daily Leader and the Origin Bank. Just because it's held in our facility
Right.
doesn't mean that it's our program all the time. And that's why we could not do something additionally with it.
Mhm.
And part of the reason for that is that was a political situation.
That's true.
And the
Yeah.
Attorney General's opinion is that libraries cannot
Oh,
by
be-
law
right.
do political things
Oh, I
because it
see.
looks as if you are
Favoring.
somebody, endorsing somebody,
Somebody
and we
influencing.
must stay neutral.
Right.
So we couldn't have done that even if we wanted to.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
one reason I'm thankful that we had entities like the Daily Leader and the bank that would help us do.
But the
Things
question
like
about
that.
cards got asked anyway.
It did.
Yeah.
The question got asked about the card. Do you have a card?
But
Well, I've never been here before. I
That's-
don't even know what this y'all do.
But I will say, the event center is perfect for that. The venue was great, and people
Yes.
came to the library via the event center that have never walked in the door of the library.
That's
One
true.
of those candidates admitted that he had
Yes.
never, that was the first time he had ever come into the library.
So,
And how
Wow.
nice it was.
yes.
Well, I thought it was just
award winning
great.
for a reason.
So y'all put that on your calendar that there are 2 more of those
Monday and
coming up.
Thursday.
Okay.
And don't forget to go to the movies this coming
Oh, yeah.
weekend. Go to the In-N-Out
In and
movie.
out.
Take your significant other because it is a date night. Remember that? It is a date night for you to watch Grease.
What's the movie?
Grease.
That's a
Dancing.
date night.
Oh,
Dancing.
And take your children, your grandchildren, because they are building cars. They are building cars to sit in for their
Oh.
outdoor movie, their drive-in
Oh, my
experience.
goodness.
So the kids will have a great time
They'll love
building
it.
a car.
Well, I will say this too, Vivian, as an aside. Excuse me, I have something trying to help, but
It's good, isn't it?
it's good. I've never had, I don't even know what this is, but I want
Ginger.
more. The number of programs seem to be increasing, or maybe I'm just more aware.
No, they are
But these
increasing.
are quality programs. This isn't just come and skip to the library program. This is good stuff. So I commend whoever's doing it. It's a good thing.
It's good to have help.
Yes.
It's good to have help with that. So,
What's the status on the children's librarian?
we will be interviewing for the second time tomorrow a young lady who I think just might be a new person.
Oh, good.
The entire children's department will be sitting around this table talking with her tomorrow.
Wow,
It's the
Boy,
second
that's-
interview, so
you're tough.
absolutely. We want the right person.
Yeah.
We want the right person that can work
Very
well with
important.
the whole department.
It is, be that team.
Mhm. So I'm very pleased with that. And I will be out next week for the Performing Arts Exchange.
Okay.
So I will be down.
Did you get these in Washington?
Hopefully I
Ancient
will find some good entertainment for us.
times. Okay. And where is it being held at?
Orlando, which is not my favorite place to go.
That's my state.
I know, that's why I'm not saying a thing against it, but
I don't have to. I don't want the Chamber of Commerce coming after me. But, okay.
And Jeremy and I are going a week from Friday
mhm.
to St. Joseph,
Okay.
Tinsel Parish to Trailblazer.
Okay.
So we'll have good representation there.
Absolutely.
Well, not because I'm going, but I mean, because we'll have two.
Very good. Charles, please behave.
This time, yes.
Or don't wear a name tag.
I didn't last time, but
Very good. That was good. That was good, Bridget.
it was clearly, well, actually, I had the right to ask the question. I was there
You
as a
did.
representative.
You were there to pass that budget, and you had a question about that budget, so.
So,
And you made a
Absolutely.
difference. You made a difference.
Well,
Actually, you did.
Okay. Now for the stats, Vivian, are we at that point?
Yes, we are. They are in your packet. They look good. I'm pleased with those stats.
any significant differences anywhere?
No, I think it's right on track, just like it needs to be. We are always down just a little bit in
Of course.
August. That's the time when
It's
school is
catching
starting
up
back.
for summer.
I mean, it's there. You can correlate exactly what's going on to what the stats look like. There's a couple of stats I do not have to add in there. The database stats is usually late coming from the state library to us, so that's not there. Adult programming is not there. Jeremy got out of here too fast to give it to me.
Somebody's been busy weeding, that's always a good thing.
Yes, the summer was spent weeding the children's department, which had not been weeded in about, well, I've been here 14 years, it's
Oh.
never been weeded.
Wow.
So it was
And
weeded.
that is so, I mean, when you say weeding, some people don't really understand what an important part of the collection that is.
Mhm.
You know, especially in the children's department, when you have something that
They get
is
weary fast.
so, well, and not only that, it's the information that's out
Well,
of
good
date.
point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you have a child that's using that for research
Right.
and, you know,
Good point, Mary Jo.
so the whole weeding thing
It's
is,
very, if
It
you go
is.
over there now, you'll see that the children's room has been spiffed up in a lot of ways.
Good.
And it just looks a little bit more inviting
and I
with
know
the
that
clean books on the shelf and
yeah,
so.
sometimes that doesn't sound like that it's so important, but it is.
But it's a huge piece of what we do. So,
Okay, anything else that you'd like to share with us for the good of the cause?
can't think of anything at the moment.
Move with adjourn.
Did I second, please?
Our second.
So moved, properly. Good join.